My mom passed away suddenly from a hospital infection about 4 months ago. But, believe it or not, that wasn't the worst part. Nor was the fact that her younger sister, my aunt, started seeing my dad just 2 months after her death. The worst was yet to come. It all started on an uneventful evening. I had just finished dinner with my aunt and dad, barely tolerating her bubbly chatter about school. As soon as I could, I excused myself and went upstairs to my room to do my homework. I sat in front of my laptop, pretending to focus on my assignment, but all I could feel was grief. Since Mom passed, I couldn't concentrate on anything. I minimized the assignment tab and stared at the background photo on my screen. It was a family picture from a few years ago. Mom and Aunt Sarah were sitting next to each other. So alike, yet so different. Dad was sitting next to Mom, and I was leaning against him. We were all smiling. Mom had both arms around her sister and her husband. Suddenly, the chat box in the corner of my screen began flashing. I was surprised no one used that app anymore. I had been meaning to delete it, and then I froze. Mom's little profile picture blinked in the chat box, followed by the message, "Hey Thelma, it's me, Mom." I felt a wave of fear. It had to be some sort of hack or a glitch, but I was paralyzed. I looked over my shoulder at my closed bedroom door. I could still hear the TV from the living room, where Aunt Sarah always had it on, even if she wasn't watching. "Don't be scared, Thelma. It's really me. I found a way to talk to you, my precious child. I've missed you so much. If this was a joke, it was the cruelest one imaginable." Tears started to well up in my eyes, against my will. "Oh, sweetheart, please don't cry. It's okay. You don't need to cry. Save your energy." My fingers, still stiff with fear, typed out a message. "Mom, is this really you?" I could feel her familiar frustration coming through the screen, just like when she thought I wasn't being smart or strong enough. "Of course, Thelma, it's me. I came back to tell you something important. I had something important to say too. Did you know Aunt Sarah moved in last weekend?" "Yes, Thelma, I know. And that's what gave me the strength to come and talk to you. Please be strong. I know you're strong and you can handle this. I'm sorry you have to, but you need to know. She can't have everything. My life, my man, my house, my child." A cold sense of dread washed over me. "Mom, what do you mean?" "Thelma, I'm so sorry to tell you like this. I don't know what else to do. You need to know. Aunt Sarah killed me." I felt like the world was crashing down around me as I dropped into a deep pit of fear. It was as if I had known this all along, since that horrible night Aunt Sarah called from the hospital where she worked to talk to Dad. I couldn't bring myself to say it before. "Thelma, are you listening?" If there was any doubt left that the chat was really from my mom, it disappeared with those words. I could hear her voice exactly as she always used to say them. "Yes, Mom, but how? You know she was at the hospital when I went in. She wasn't on my floor, but she arranged for me to pick up an infection." "Thelma," the door opened, and Aunt Sarah poked her head in. I screamed and quickly minimized the chat box. Aunt Sarah stepped into the room. "Oh, honey, you look like you've seen a ghost. Are you okay?" I nodded silently. Aunt Sarah sighed. "Thelma, sweetheart, I miss your mom too, but this brooding isn't helping you. It's hurting your dad. Do you want him to suffer more?" I shrugged, unable to speak. I looked at her, noticing how the light made her look strangely like Mom, but not quite. "And these clothes, Thelma?" She reached out and touched my black sleeve. I flinched back, as though she had slapped me. For a moment, I thought she was going to hit me, but then she smiled and said, "I know girls your age like to wear black, but how about we go to the mall and pick out some new clothes? I'll treat you. Come on. Sweetheart, it'll be fun." I shook my head vigorously, tears of rage, grief, and fear spilling from my eyes. Aunt Sarah started again, "Oh, Thelma." But then she stopped and went silent. I looked up at her face. She was pale, staring at my laptop with a terrible expression. I followed her gaze, turning to look at my screen. The background photo had changed. Now it showed Mom, apparently asleep in a hospital bed, with Aunt Sarah leaning over her. Aunt Sarah jolted to life. Her face twisted into a horrible snarl, and she screamed, "Are you playing tricks on me?" She lunged at me. I recoiled, raising my hands to protect myself. But before she could reach me, a bolt of electricity shot out from the laptop, hitting her square in the chest. She dropped to the floor, lifeless. I screamed in terror. Dad and I had to leave that town. Losing 2 wives in 4 months was just too much for anyone. The police investigated the laptop, the electric shock, and everything else, but eventually, they ruled it as a freak accident when I asked Aunt Sarah for help with my laptop. Dad never remarried, and I never heard from Mom again.